Hello and welcome to episode 77 of Radio Gorepress. I'm Phil. With me, as always, are my wonderful co-hosts Sarah and Rosie. How are you both?
Hello.
That's not what I asked.
And yet we both answered the same.
In stereo.
Hello, 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 hello.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm alright, I've got a headache. I'm alright.
Voice of an angel. Got a headache.
What kind of fucking angel are we talking about?
I mean, probably realistic.
Is that what they sound
A
like?
fallen angel. A demon, maybe.
A falling
Oh,
angel.
no, I was thinking about a demon.
Ah!
Voice of a demon.
Oh, yeah, fair. Way more relatable, I'm going to say.
Personality of a demon. Also.
Oh, no, I feel attacked.
I mean, some demons are bound to be nice. Right?
I was trying to think of a nice demon.
You.
Ah, sweet.
We solved that already. I'm fine.
Good.
I'm pretty good.
We're all ready for 2020.
Yeah, first episode of the decade. Ooh.
Let's go.
Insane.
Let's go make some bread.
Let's go get that bread.
Let's go get some sandwiches.
We're presenting different podcasts now. This
That's
is not.
the saying, is it not?
Let's go make a baguette.
I'm not aware of the saying.
That's the famous saying.
Let's go punch that dough.
Punch and dough, bakery, metaphors. Who knows?
It makes perfect sense to me. So I'm not remotely ready for the new decade. My Christmas tree's still up.
Yes. Just keep it up. It's fine.
I think I might have to. Isn't that like the superstition?
You don't have to leave it up all year. You can leave it up until the next 12th night, or
the next 12th night. What does that mean?
So 12th night is like January the 5th, January 6th. That's
yeah,
like Epiphany.
the 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah, 12th night on Epiphany.
Yeah.
If you don't take your Christmas decorations down on the 6th,
Yeah.
then you need to leave it up until the next 6th of January.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Or you can do one of
Says who?
two other things, like the internet. Or you can do one of two other things. You can leave it up until Candlemas,
What?
which is
The
the
fuck?
Candlemas.
which is the 2nd of February.
You just made that up.
I did fucking not. Or look it up. Look it up. Or you can do what the Queen does and leave her decorations up until the 4th of February.
Why does she do that?
Because she's a dick.
Because she's the
She
queen.
loves bad luck. She's all about it.
I'm the world's biggest cynic. I believe in nothing, so I might take it down tomorrow.
All I'm saying is, if you have a particularly unlucky year,
This
just
is on
means,
record.
It means
Then
I'm a
it's-
human in my 30s.
I mean, yes, but also the tree.
You've just made my tree so sinister.
The tree.
I'm very suspicious of that tree now.
It's got a burger on it.
It's got a donut on it.
It's got a
and some
pineapple on
fries.
it.
It's mostly
What is
food
happening?
based.
To be fair, it's not particularly festive.
There's a taco on there.
It does say "fuck yeah, Christmas."
And yeah, the tree topper broke, so that's on there with an elastic band. It is the most ratchet Christmas tree.
Next to your pumpkins, there's something gone awry here.
Who knows what fucking time of year it is? That's all I'm saying.
You've got like the two streams of Halloween and Christmas mixing. I'm here for it. I'm all about
Trust
it.
the streams.
You did it. You did it.
And we're all fine.
So far.
It's all good. Oh, don't say that.
Hi Phil, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
How was your Chris year?
Chris
Chris
here.
It's like Christmas and New Year, just truncated it to save time.
Nice. That's the thing
But
now.
then the explanation sort of made that moot.
Yeah, but now I never have to explain it again. How was your Chris year?
Chris here. Worth a try. Worth a try. Yeah, busy. I was fully expecting to not do anything, and turns out that's not a thing.
Phil, you never do anything.
I wish. I think that's a compliment.
I don't know. I was
Never-
about
never
to
do
say that was
anything.
unnecessarily harsh. We took very different
No,
things from
let's
that
just-
statement.
Let's just let him read it as wholesome.
I'm in charge today. I'm moving swiftly on from this conversation.
I mean, if you choose to interpret everything and anything in a wholesome manner, then
I like reading things in a wholesome way.
but
definitely.
then you're the winner.
Yeah, yeah. You always have the high ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and nothing's
Like
negative. That's
Anakin.
awesome.
No.
What?
Sorry.
Whip.
So, for those of you who don't already, come find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Give us a like or a follow. It's always great to hear from you guys.
I like or a follow. I insist on a follow and then a like. In that
Whichever
order.
one makes more sense for the social media in question.
You make it
We
more
also
fun.
have a Patreon where you can donate as little as $1 a month and get access to our Discord server where we all chat about stuff we like horror movies and stuff.
And gaming. And
gaming.
Beer.
And cats.
And cats.
And
It's
how much
lovely.
I've slept recently.
Very little.
Yeah.
We also have Ko-fi,
Covfefe, I think, is
Cool.
what we...
That was the official.
Covfefe.
Covfefe.
Covfefe. I can never say it.
You did wonderfully, dear.
That website that must not be named. Go find us on it.
Voldemort.com. Yeah, come find us on there if you want to donate a one-off payment. And we also have Redbubble where we can buy cool merchandise. So I think that's
Merchandise.
merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
This reminds me of Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Everything reminds you of Spaceballs. You talk about
That's not true.
Spaceballs is the movie that you talk about the most in real life.
And it's so misogynistic and racist and generally pretty awful. And yeah, I'm still
I
like,
wasn't impressed. I
good
watched it for the
memories.
first time recently.
That's why you weren't
Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah.
Not hugely impressed.
Had you watched it when, like, there's no place for Mel Brooks in today's society.
Oh God, no.
Like Robin
Absolutely
Hood, Men in
not.
Tights? No, not so much.
Blazing Saddles.
Oh.
Oof.
Eesh.
But then I love John Hughes, and his films are hugely problematic. But I think
Hugely
Oh,
problematic.
God.
But I think it's fine to enjoy things through a nostalgic lens as long as you acknowledge how problematic they are, I think.
I still can't bring myself to rewatch Short Circuit.
Ooh, yeah.
More on that later. So what have we watched since we last recorded an episode? Anything you guys want to talk about?
You will be really proud to know that I'm not sure I watched an entire film over Christmas. In fact, I
mean,
don't
that's
think
almost-
I turned my television on.
That's almost an achievement, I think.
Like, not watching. I did watch a lot of Father Ted and Miss Marple.
We literally spent Christmas Day together and intended to watch 2 horror
Yeah.
movies. We spent 8 hours in each other's company and watched nothing.
I mean, it was nice. We talked
it was
a lot.
lovely.
I mean,
It's
I
not a
was going to
complaint.
say.
It's not a complaint.
We did a lot of chatting.
And drinking
but-
and eating.
stuff like that, Christmassy
Good
shit.
fun.
But yeah, I didn't actually end up watching a... I watched Ant-Man. I did watch a film.
There we go.
So you'll find... Right.
So you've
So
got to
the
talk about it
Marvel
now.
embargo is officially lifted, is it?
The
Marv Bargo.
Stop trying to make that work. That might be the worst thing you've ever said.
Or worst, or best.
No, worse.
I love it. It's a thing now.
I'm so sorry. I'm not feeling very well. But yes, I watched Ant-Man.
Anthony, man.
Apart from the last 5 minutes.
Oh, what?
Because... Did you get bored?
I just
You
got,
couldn't...
You got through like an hour and 25 minutes. I went, no, this film isn't for me. Turn it
I
off.
got to the climax of the film and went, nah. Literally, like just before the final fight.
Wow.
No, that's not what actually happened. So it turns out that I have gallstones. And I had a really bad gallstone attack 5 minutes before the end of the film, so I had to leave the room. So
That's
I missed
than I was
the
expecting.
yeah. So I missed the end of Ant-Man, and I got really upset about it in the middle of having a really bad gallstone attack. And my sister was going, "I'm calling 111. It's all right. We can rewind it, Rosie." And it was awful. Happy Christmas. And that is the story of my
I'm not okay right now.
Embargalago.
Bargalago. Love it.
But yes, what I actually wanted to talk about was a trailer that I have seen recently for The Turning, which is a film that we have been sort of postulating over recently, because it's what's The Turning of the Screw is like. It's loosely based on The Turning of the Screw,
which
the
I'll be
turn
honest,
of the screw.
I know very little about it.
Oh, really? What,
it's
as
not,
in the story?
It's not a work I am that familiar with.
It's The Innocents.
Yeah. But
Okay.
that's the extent of
I mean,
my
presumably
knowledge.
that's the story, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say it's been a good 15 years.
I know
since I've
very
seen
little
The
about it
Innocents.
apart from the entire story.
It's been over a decade since I've seen The Innocents.
It's kind of like just really definitely classical spooky house story.
Would you say, would you define it as literary gothic?
I think I would.
Yeah.
I would. Anyway.
I haven't seen the trailer, but
No, the
Oh, the
turn
book.
of the screw.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. But I always found it genuinely unsettling. Maybe it's because the first time I saw it, it was like in a play. It was like in a theatre.
Oh, yeah.
And they managed to make it like super unsettling and spooky. But I'm generally not that weirded out by like ghost houses, spooky goings on, that kind of thing.
Spoopy.
Spoopy.
Yeah.
But this story anyway freaks me out. Mackenzie Davis stars.
On board.
Finn
Hell
Wolfhard.
yes. Less interested, but yeah, cool.
Think he's brilliant.
He's a
Think
good
he's
actor.
really good actor.
Yeah.
Think he's cool.
I haven't seen him play anyone but Finn Wolfhard so far.
You haven't seen him play anyone apart from Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah, like his Stranger
not
Things character
himself.
is kind of the same as his It character is kind of the same as his Ghostbusters character from what I've seen.
He's really straight and quite sinister in this film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not comedic role at all.
Then I stand corrected. And I'm more intrigued.
I mean, from what I've seen of the trailer anyway, it's directed by, I'm going to get this wrong, Floria Sigismondi,
Oh, okay.
who has directed shows mainly like American Gods and episodes of The Handmaid's Tale.
Ooh.
I know that name.
She is known for directing music videos.
Oh, okay.
Like Sigur Rós, Dua Lipa, she recently did.
Oh, she directed The Runaways.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, so she's mostly sort of known for very stylistic music videos, but she's kind of travelled more into directing, which I think is super interesting.
Yeah.
And written by, I'm gonna say, the Hayes brothers.
Not a clue.
There are two of them. They are both Hayes. They are two of them, and they are both Hayes, and that is all I know.
Okay.
I think this might be their first writing credit. But
Okay.
I'm also like
Everyone's
not
got to start
100% on
somewhere.
that. Exactly, and actually, that could be really exciting because I think it looks super scary, super cold and unearthly and foreboding,
Okay.
and I'm here for it. It's got a very kind of Haunting of Hill House feel about it,
Ooh.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I'm totally all about that.
Yeah.
Which obviously ties in with the new Haunting of Hill House, which is
Haunting of... Is it Bly Manor?
Or
Wanna say?
not sure, but it's
Bly
based on the Turning of the
something.
Screw.
Yeah.
So, as I'm sure we've discussed before,
Yes. Yeah.
many times.
Yes. Which leads me on to Gretel and Hansel,
Which I
which really confuses me.
haven't seen the trailer for, so...
I think you're going to fucking love it.
Really?
It's got a super New England horror, like folklore horror, witch vibe around it.
I'm already in then.
Muted palettes with like bright oranges and reds.
Okay.
Um,
I fucking love anything that can be described as a grown-up fairy tale. So I'm
oh no,
like,
absolutely
yeah.
is. It's total dark folklore. Directed by Oz Perkins, who did I'm the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House.
Oh, which was not great.
No, it's a little bit worrying.
Yeah.
And he did another film called The Black Coat's Daughter, which
I saw that.
That's okay. It's
I
called
haven't seen
February
it,
over here, I
but-
think.
Yeah.
Like I
It's
just picked that
alright.
up offline.
Is that the
today.
one with
Emma Roberts.
Emma Roberts, yeah.
And the girl that plays Sabrina.
The one from Mad Men.
Yes, Kiernan Shipka.
Weird name, but yeah.
Melissa Joan Hart?
Not that
the
one.
only real Sabrina.
And again, written by Hayes.
Oh.
Interesting.
Written by Hayes, who interestingly...
Any relation?
Potentially another brother. I'm not but yeah, I picked this up of IMDb, written by a guy called Rob Hayes, who the only other work he's done is a thing called Chewing Gum, which is a show.
Oh, it was an E4 thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's written comedy for Stephen K. Amos.
Oh.
So, for him to be writing
yeah,
like
that's
a
quite
New
a leap.
England dark horror,
Hmm.
but like you say, everybody's got to start somewhere, and it's aesthetically, I think you're going to fucking fall in love with it.
It sounds like it, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and we're going to watch the trailer after we've recorded
So
this.
sweet.
Yeah, but those, I mean, those are the exciting things that I saw that I wanted to talk to you guys about.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
What about you, Sarah? What have you watched?
I have watched... We're on day 8. I've watched 9 movies.
Solid start. Solid
Um,
start.
I think I managed 290 something last year, so I
I got
way short of my
Solid.
day.
225, I think, last year.
Okay.
I got
Didn't
like
quite reach my 361 the year before, or whatever
It's
it
a
was.
really sort of... It's not an easy thing to
I was
accomplish.
just frantically watching like short Disney movies at the end of the year
Yeah.
just to get more.
how many episodes did we record last year?
Oh gosh, I think we started at 53 and ended on 76,
So, like,
23.
23. I probably wasn't in like 3 of them, so that's 20 plus Ant-Man. I watched 21 films last year.
At the very least.
It's easy maths.
But yeah, I started off the year strong and watched 4 movies back to back
Nice.
on New Year's Day. I rewatched Christine because I'm having a bit of a
John Carpenter.
John
Christine?
Carpenter thing, yeah.
Cool.
I'm trying to fill in some of the gaps, which I obviously have seen Christine a bunch before. And then I got hold of the 1995 Village of the Damned because I was like, I definitely haven't seen this.
Oh, you did a me, didn't you?
And then it was on, and I was like, oh no, I've seen this many times.
Yeah.
This is really familiar.
Yeah, you did a me.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I just need to get hold of Body Bags.
Later's on the Menji.
And I also bought Assault on Precinct 13, so I am filling in all the gaps. But yeah, Christine is better than I remember, actually.
Okay, also.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, and I think when I first watched it, I was probably a teenager. So I hadn't made the connection between Christine and John Carpenter. I knew it was a Stephen King story,
Right.
but that's it. Like, watching it now through...
Oh, you appreciate it more with the
37-year-old
like
eyes.
background knowledge that you've
With the,
got.
yeah, like the synth, everything makes sense. It's very, very Carpenter, but at the time, obviously, I didn't make those connections.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of gets a bad rap and about taking on the project. Because it's a film about a killer car. Thought the premise was ridiculous, but then started reading it. It was like, oh no, actually. So I do want to read the source material, but yeah, holds up. It's a fun movie.
Nice.
Cool. How? Okay. So, how would you say it rates against other Carpenter films? And I'm like, are we in the middle? Are we
In the
near
middle.
bottom?
In the
Okay.
middle. Yeah.
Straight down in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not at the top, but it's solid.
Solid watch.
And some of the effects are really cool as well, like when the car kind of rebuilds itself, like they did it with hydraulics. I
Yeah,
believe.
it's like
Oh,
it's like a
wow, okay.
mechanism inside that pulls it together,
yeah,
which
and then they
reverse
reverse the footage.
to
Yeah,
make it look like it was fixing itself.
but it looks really cool.
cool.
Even now, like that, the effects have dated really well. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And the only other thing I watched worth mentioning is Event Horizon,
Ooh.
which
Where we're going, we don't need eyes.
I was worried because it had been a long time since I've watched it, and I was worried that it would have aged badly. Again, holds up really well. Apart, like the music at the beginning is a little bit naff.
Yeah. Yeah, but Sam Neill is ageless.
Sam Neill's phenomenal. He's great. The whole cast,
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne, they're all amazing.
Oh, it's a really strong cast. Like,
But yeah, there's a couple of effects that maybe haven't aged that well, but otherwise, it still looks great. It's paced brilliantly. I know some people sort of call it The Shining in space. I don't necessarily see that. But there's some really interesting fan theories out there that people are kind of trying to reconcile the fact that they think it takes place in the same universe as Hellraiser.
Oh, really?
Because the themes, the
yeah.
parallels,
That makes sense.
like
The
the
one I've heard is
obsession, the portal to hell, like it's a fun theory.
the one I've heard is I'm not familiar enough to be able to explain it more, but Warhammer. there's a concept I think in
Okay.
Warhammer. I think it's Warhammer like 40k. Is that there is like this kind of space beyond space that just drives people mad,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what Event Horizon's all about.
Yeah.
But I don't, like I said, I'm not familiar enough with Warhammer to actually
No, I'm not.
I
elaborate.
think in my mind there are 3 films from that era that are timeless, and they are Event Horizon, Twister, and Dante's Peak.
Oh my god, Twister.
Yeah, love it.
Dante's Peak was
Dante's
mate.
Peak was Piss Brosnan.
wasn't it?
Yeah. Piss Brosnan in a boat of acid.
Twister. God damn, yeah. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Right? Neither have I, but in my mind it's perfection.
I bet that's aged horrifically. Maybe we should watch it. We'll have to watch it sometime soon. Yeah, so that's about it for me. What about you, Phil?
So I actually watched a fair bit, but the only one I want to talk about is The Witcher, the new Netflix series, which I know you guys haven't watched, and I'm sure
I've seen
Still-
episode 1.
still
as far as
fairly
I've
new,
got.
so I don't want to go into too much detail.
I've seen how happy Geralt's sword looks.
Some of the
Yes.
memes.
I love that
are
so
pretty
much.
good.
And when you guys watch it, toss a coin to your Witcher. You will have in your heads for the rest of your days, just to let you know.
I've heard this, and
Okay.
I've got the sentence stuck in my head, but I have no context
It's
for it.
so catchy. Every so often, someone at work, like particularly since I went back Monday, sorry.
Yeah.
Every so often I'll hear someone mentioning it, and then for the rest of the day, it'll just be sitting there in my head, and will never go anywhere. But yeah, like it's really good. It's quite a refreshing thing, because I think last season of Game of Thrones kind of soured everyone's taste a bit
Yeah, 'cause it
Yeah.
sucked.
because it's up
It was ungood.
and kind of along the same sort of swords and sorcery thing.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice thing to turn to.
Sworcery.
Swords and sorcery.
Sworcery. I'm so sorry.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
It just every time you say something like that, it just reminds me of that bit in Mean Girls where she says gruel.
It's me. That's me.
You can't truncate everything, Rosie. It doesn't always work.
Sworcery.
It's a valiant effort.
I'm sticking with it.
So anyway, I won't go into any more detail, because I think, like I said, you guys should watch it, and we should talk about it.
I'm super excited about it.
You do.
How are the effects and like the mythical creatures kind of angle? How much of that do you see, and how well done?
See,
is
I
it?
don't feel I'm in the correct position to judge, because turns out one of my friends works on it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm not. That's not like I
That
want to
means
insult
Phil
it.
thinks it's
I was about to say that's not a thing where
Well,
I
then
want
you
to
can
insult
praise
it.
it.
But no, like I think.
Oh, I'm just not going to say anything nice either. I don't want you to do. Was it balls?
No. They're pretty good. They are good. I think it's
Backpedal.
Is the, without spoiling anything, the opening scene, is that pretty indicative of the effects
What was the
throughout?
opening scene? The creature in the water.
The swamp of sadness. Yeah, I don't know.
Log of eternal stench.
Yeah, I might be mixing up media here.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I know that's a really
No, the only reason I
Easy
ask
way
is
out.
because with sci-fi kind of fantasy stuff, if it's not, obviously it's never going to be seamless, but if it's done particularly badly, that just pulls me right out.
Yeah, it's tough, because I was talking about this the other day at work. Like, there's so many different things that go into a CG character that any one of them is off. Whether it's the animation, whether it's the rendering, whether it's the compositing, whether it's like how it interacts with the environment, the water effects, like so many things.
Like that bit in Cats where they've actually just got an entirely human hand at one point.
Really?
Yeah, Judi Dench
Oh,
just has a hand.
no.
You can see a wedding ring. It's hilarious.
Oh,
It's
God.
like an actual hand. They didn't even finish the fucking film.
The caliber of people involved in that project. How did it go so badly?
Derulo.
How did they
That's who you go
fuck it
to.
up? Yeah.
Sarah talks about
Not Ian
caliber, and then
McKellen.
Jason Derulo. Judi Dench, Ian McKellen. Nah, Jason Derulo.
Jason.
Jesus, even Taylor Swift.
I just wanted to sing the song.
The Jason Derulo song. You know.
Jason.
It's called Jason Derulo by Jason Derulo.
It's his most famous track.
And how does it go?
We all know now. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up what we've been watching.
Yeah.
So we weren't really sure what we'd actually watch today. Came as a bit of a surprise. Then Sarah texted us and went, I want to watch Pieces. And so we watched Pieces.
Well, nobody had made any suggestions or decisions, so I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to decide.
I asked if you had any ideas and you said, I'll have a think.
And I did. And I came up with it. And my brain went, Pieces. Let's watch Pieces.
Don't blame me. Yeah.
Well, actually, I had a quick look at the list that we made last year.
Oh, is it naff? Has it not aged well?
No, there's still stuff on there that I want to do, like Hell Comes to Frogtown and America
I'm
3000.
sorry, what?
Hell Comes
America
to
3000,
Frogtown.
yes. Hell Comes to Frogtown?
Yeah, it's about a town of frogs. And hell comes to
I mean,
it.
It's really misogynistic. It has not aged well at all.
Full of
at
misogynistic
least you
frogs.
can admit it up front. Unlike some of these films you've come up with where you've gone, yeah, it's really good, and then it's like super problematic.
When have I done that?
Problematic. No.
Yeah, you're going to say like
Revenge
an
of
hour ago.
Billy the Kid, that was all about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, Satan's Little Helper wasn't
All right, yeah.
hugely great.
Younger
Audacious titsicles, sister.
Titsicles.
Whatever he says.
Let's not
Horrendous.
Let's not dwell on that.
Breasty boobs.
Ugh.
So, Sarah's obviously watched Pieces before. Had you, Rosie?
Definitely not.
I had not either.
I 100% had no idea this film existed.
I think I'd heard of it, but that's about the extent of my familiarity.
I feel like it was a warmer, more halcyon time before.
Before
How dare you?
this is
This
the
film-
first film of 2020 for you, Rosie.
This is a
God,
classic.
it is.
Oh, I'm up to 10. I forgot to include the one we just watched.
Well done.
You did it me again.
Oh, this is going poorly already.
Oh,
It's alright.
no.
We're all on the post New Year recovery.
Come up.
The crash back down to earth.
I've watched one film this year, and
And
it with this.
It with this.
Yeah, which is spectacular. How else would you want to start your year?
Sleeping.
Yeah, but in the context of watching a film, you are such a brat. It's unbearable. What other film would you rather have been watching?
Blade
Oh,
Runner.
The end of Ant-Man.
The last 5 minutes of Ant-Man, arguably. Yeah.
I'm sure
You
we can
will.
still do that.
You will.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
So fun.
Yeah, and
We
that.
won't. Let's not go back to Marvel.
The Marvel and Log. You were saying,
So,
Philippe.
I think this one surprised me a bit. I was expecting a giallo,
Okay.
given kind of everything about it. So when you said it was a Spanish film, which I guess
Yeah.
technically doesn't mean it's giallo.
I mean,
Spanish
You
co-production.
described it as a fake giallo?
I described it as a pseudo giallo,
Pseudo
which
giallo,
I
sorry.
stick by because it does have a lot of the hallmarks of giallo.
Well,
I think when you said that, I mean, obviously you went on to say it was like ridiculous, and I would love it, and it was, and you're right. But I think when you said pseudo giallo, I had in my head more like a kind of
More traditional.
stage fright kind of.
I love stage fright.
I know you do.
Shut him right between the eyes.
Grab between the eyes.
Right
God,
between the
Are
eyes.
repeated lines?
That's the
like,
hallmark.
A hallmark of giallo.
Yeah,
Is that
I think
it?
so.
Bastard. Bastard. So
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of categorise giallo as being more. I mean, it's kind of weapon specific as well, because when I think of giallo, I think of like blades, like switchblades and knives, and
Stabby kitchen knives.
they're basically like Italian slashers in a way. But
Yeah.
the mystery element because it's always like a black clothed figure, and you sort of see the black gloves from their perspective.
Yeah.
And they're always like super shiny blades as
Yeah.
well.
and like bright,
like
lurid
glinting.
red blood.
Yeah, everything's very high contrast and
Yeah.
Which is big old ticks for
Yeah.
pieces.
Did you just say no? Okay.
Big old
Let's not go there.
ticks. Check marks.
Genuinely, that is not what I heard.
There were a lot of tits in this movie.
There were
though.
so many tits.
Also a dick. But we'll get to that.
So
Tits. I've written tits quite a lot. Tits.
You have.
that's 2,
I mean, that's it's more than once.
but quite a lot though.
quite a lot considering how little I normally write about tits.
I don't know. If
That
it's
is better.
In the context of the podcast, it's kind of a lot. Right?
It's all that's in my notebook. Just tits, tits, tits.
Boomies.
God, we're never gonna forget that, are we?
No.
It's never not gonna be a thing.
Depressingly, that is ingrained.
Gross.
But yeah, sorry, like to differentiate it from Giallo, I feel like they sort of wanted to do a Giallo, but also wanted to capitalise on the success of the American slasher and films like Texas Chainsaw. I mean, the tagline is "You don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre."
Oh, really?
So they hugely tried to capitalise
Yeah.
on the success of all that shit.
They weren't even like
Hiding
coy
it.
about it. You like that film that made loads of money? Come and see our film. We wanted to make loads of money.
Yeah, it's just as good and it makes about as much sense.
Plus more tits.
Yeah, fair.
It's a recipe for success, I would say.
I mean, it's great. So yeah,
fucking loved it.
Something works.
Yeah.
So this film starts off strongly, I think. Is perhaps a way of putting it. This is not something I expected to happen so soon into the film. We start off in 1942 in inverted commas Boston.
Yeah, they
This
go
is
to
actual
great
Boston.
pains to repeat that it's definitely Boston.
And not somewhere in Spain.
In Boston, Madrid.
Yeah.
That said, though, I did notice in the credits it did say filmed in Boston
Oh, really?
Barcelona.
Ah.
Or something like that. It was
So some of
Boston
it, at
and
least.
Spain somewhere.
Are we whacking a spoiler alert on this?
I mean,
Yeah.
It's old enough that like everybody could realistically have seen it by
This
now.
film
but...
is as old as I am. So
And quite a cult following.
oh
you'd
yeah,
say?
massive. I mean, anything that Arrow
yeah.
Yeah,
such a loving release for has got you know it's
Yeah,
got a bit of a
for
cult
sure.
following.
for sure. But for the Rosies in the world who had no idea it existed, but need to watch it, it's gonna be spoilers.
That should be their
Yeah.
tagline. For the Rosies in the world.
Oh, I think that's lovely. I think everything should be for the Rosies in the world.
Aw,
Because that means I get all this stuff.
it's really narcissistic. Okay. Selfish. God.
And nothing for anyone else.
You're damn right.
So it starts off with a kid in his front room playing with a jigsaw.
Not just any jigsaw.
A jigsaw of a naked lady.
It's a jigsaw with tits.
What?
Titties.
And full bush as well. Let's not forget that.
It looked very 1970s considering it was 1942. Like, could you get full bush, big titty jigsaws in 1942?
Oh, maybe not jigsaws. Maybe the child made it.
I mean, it wasn't 1942. Like, that's World War Two.
Yeah.
Had America joined World War Two by then?
I am not that familiar with history.
Like, I'm not. I refuse to say either way confidently because I will be disproven.
I feel like it was 42,
It was
43.
it was a 70s
but
jigsaw.
It was a 70s jigsaw.
Yeah.
It was a 70s bush.
So what I propose is that there's a bit of a quantum leap thing going on. And
This film has layers that I didn't
Yeah,
even know about.
this is. Please continue with your theory, Rosie, because I'm fascinated by it.
So is the kid actually Scott Bakula?
the kid is Scott Bakula, yeah, and he looks at the jigsaw and goes, "Oh boy."
That explains so much of Quantum Leap.
Right. And then he violently murders his own mother.
Right?
There is some matricide very early
Some
on.
slight matricide within the first
Implied
10 minutes.
matricide.
A hint of an axing.
But like, first it was like her slapping him, which was like, oh,
She was being a bitch.
That
She
was
fair.
full
pretty
on loses
brutal.
her shit.
I was rooting for that kid.
Yeah.
And then he turns around and just
Gives her 40
fucks
whacks.
her up.
Does an Elizabeth Bathory on her ass.
No.
No, Lizzie Borden.
That's
There
the
we
yeah.
go.
Fucking Elizabeth.
You knew what I meant, though.
I did. I did. Never trust an Elizabeth.
And then
apparently.
and then the police turn up because apparently a neighbour gets suspicious that she can't hear anything.
After ringing the bell constantly for about 10 minutes and not waiting for anyone to actually answer the door.
But not just deciding nobody's in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which would be the logical
She
conclusion.
calls the police because she rang a doorbell, nobody answered, and it's very quiet.
Yeah. And then looked a bit too gleeful when talking to the police officers about the ant. Did you know that there was a hint of a smile?
Busybody, that's why.
And,
Yeah.
and she
Neighbourhood gossip. She was there when it happened.
She's
She's
the
the
neighbourhood
one.
watch.
Yeah.
bet she did it. No way, I've seen
We
the rest of the
literally-
film.
Yeah.
But you did gasp, like, you're onto something there.
There's no such thing as a sort of post-credits red herring. I know what happened. I was there.
Yeah, I think she did it.
Oh, you took me in momentarily.
You
I
have
know
me
you were
going there.
Sorry. It's quite alright.
Just rewritten the film.
So then we jump forward 40 years. To not present day, to the 80s. Present day, then present day.
Yeah, I mean the film came out in 1982, so
Early 80s.
everything looked.
And it's 40 years later, so it's set in 1982 as well.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I mean, this is obviously like the second best film that came out in 1982.
That's
It's The Thing, then Pieces,
it must be
and E.T.'s floundering somewhere. Like this was the second most important thing that happened to cinema that year.
I think it definitely had the most cultural impact out of those three movies you
I
mentioned.
think so, yeah. Oh, we've lost him. We've
He's
lost
gone.
him.
He's gone.
Man down.
So we end up on campus. On a campus in somewhere.
In,
Right.
on a
Blade Runner
campus.
came out in 82. Fuck you. I was like, hold on a minute.
So that'd be number 3.
Oh, fair.
I feel I need to like look up a favourite movie from 82 now. Because you've got The
Pieces.
Thing. You've got Blade Runner.
And you can have
And you
pieces.
can have Pieces.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for nominating my favourite movie for me.
That's alright, because you would have chosen a shit one.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I've got a headache. You can't be mad, I'm not well.
Oh.
Sarah's going to make it her mission to get mad now.
I might.
Oh, a bitch I might. Sorry, Phil, carry on.
So we end up on in present day,
Indefinitely Boston.
indefinitely Boston, and
Costa del Boston.
yes, in the wake of a killing, another killing,
A killing.
a killing.
We do.
Right,
Quite a brutal, well-lit, middle of the day killing as well. For nobody to have seen.
I've got a question about this.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Is the girl who gets decapitated by a chainsaw the
Yes.
same girl who is being a crazy skateboarder and
have no
crashing
idea.
God, I
into
completely forgot.
a slapstick comedy mirror that's being carried along?
I don't think it's the same girl. I don't think that has any relevance and was never revisited.
It
was bizarre, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I wondered if it was like a daydream the girl was having.
Well, they didn't do a very good job of making that clear, if that was the case.
No.
And also,
but it
everyone-
is the same girl.
But everyone has really similar hair, so it's hard to tell.
Really similar faces. Are they all the same person?
All white people look the same.
More on that later.
Oh god.
Wait, what? Is there?
Just casual racism, I was thinking, but...
Oh.
That wasn't racist. You can't be racist to white people.
No, it's not a thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
We deserve it all.
But yeah, she's murdered in a spectacular fashion.
Do you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I kind of love the way that's filmed. Like, it's sort of backlit and you see the blood, like, the ridiculous gosh. I love it.
It was very excessive, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Like, literally just someone off screen with a bucket.
Yeah.
Just throwing it in.
Like, when I say I think it looks really cool, I'm not saying it's good. That's not the same thing.
It just looks cool.
I just appreciate it.
It just looks a bit gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
So, we are introduced over here to a couple of characters.
Would you call Kendall our
I
protagonist?
thought you were going to say a character. Would you call him a character or just like someone who is there, really?
Characters are stretched.
Would you say introduced, or would you just like, there they are?
There's a guy on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the dialogue is terrible.
But even
throughout.
before that, there's a girl who you meet the
Oh,
the
God.
head of anatomy.
John Waters.
The head of anatomy at a university that all the girls take the piss out of by running up and going, Mr. Head of Anatomy, what are tits? Where are they? Show me tits.
But it's foreshadowing because we later find out that he's gay.
Oh, and he doesn't like the tits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that didn't even...
And they're all taking the piss, I guess.
That's just mean.
So, yeah, oh my god, like, that's the tip of the iceberg as to how problematic this film is. The homophobia is just, like, on the surface.
Right. Absolutely
Yeah.
right.
There is so much more wrong with this film.
Who are we introducing? So, yeah,
Kendall.
Kendall.
I was convinced they were calling out for Candle at some point.
Kendall Cove.
Kendall Cove.
Willard.
Willard, the very
Oh.
suspicious handyman.
Oh, Bluto, yeah.
And both suspicious in that he is a suspicious character.
Mm-hmm.
But he's very
And
suspicious
that he is
of
very
everyone
suspicious
else.
of everyone else. Either that or is he blind in one eye?
He's got an incredulous look on his face at all times.
One eye shut all the time and one eye, like, giving you the stinker.
Yeah.
Always.
I would like to think that was a character choice.
Like, that is
I
his
think he was
only
given no
character
direction.
They
No.
just gave the direction. Just be suspicious.
I think he was given no direction and chose to do that off his own back.
I know what this character needs. An injection of some suspicion.
Yes.
They're just like, no, stop. No, it's like, he's still doing it. Fine, leave him. Leave him.
Just leave him. He's far too big and scary.
Yeah,
and he will
nobody wanted
break
to
our
disagree
bones.
because he was such a big dude.
Schwartz, my favourite character of the entire film.
Who just never gets revisited again, also.
He's Dr. Rick Douglas, MD, in child form.
Yes.
He just talks under his breath all the fucking time and just says stuff like, oh, I may as well go fucking kill myself. And then when somebody goes, oh no, don't kill yourself, he's like, good, I'm too young to die, and just walks off, like mid-sentence.
And I feel like that's probably the last we see of him.
You see
It's
him
maybe
once
one-
more when, like, the police talk to him.
And he comes out of the shadows wearing a mask.
Yeah,
And then goes Casanova.
And then goes...
Whatever it was.
he makes
Noise.
some kind of like weird quacking sound. He's
through
like,
his...
Casanova!
Yeah, through
And
his
then
hand. And then-
disappears. Can you make that sound like that? That one.
Not now. But you seem to do a really good job of it.
That's
There you
it.
go.
That was what I wanted.
That was pretty spot on.
Yeah, so we go, Casanova. And then
like,
disappears.
And then just Miss Vanjie's into the background.
Yeah, he and then he fucks off forever.
Moon walks away, never to be heard from again.
I'm glad he survives.
You assume he survives.
Fuck off.
I mean, he had to. He's Rick Douglas.
You can't. Well, I maintain that it is the same universe as Darkplace.
This is a prequel to Darkplace.
We say that,
Do you
but
know
I
what?
think Mr. Brown then becomes the guidance counsellor.
From Todd and the Book of Pure Evil.
Atticus.
He did have an Atticus
He's
look
got the
about
Atticus
him.
vibe.
Yeah. I think
And he might start worshipping the devil.
He
Pieces.
might very well do.
the university campus in pieces definitely exists in the same universe as the hospital in Darkplace.
Yes.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense now you've said it.
Canon.
I love it. I love it. Fan theory. Excellent.
And it's all set in the 80s as well. Makes perfect sense.
I love it.
I was just expecting the tennis player at one point to be like, I went to Harvard and I got an A. Brilliant.
Oh, God, I need to watch Darkplace now.
I had a
Been
cat
too long.
once. Dropped a sofa on it. It was a write-off. That's the sort of dialogue that is in Pieces,
Yeah.
except it's not a comedy. Or, well, no. Correction, it's not an intentional comedy.
Yes, that's probably more accurate. It's probably a lot more accurate.
Like, to be fair, I laugh a lot during this movie.
The next kill is a girl in a swimming pool. She gets dragged out by a small net that
that she
suffocates her
can't breathe
somehow.
through. Yeah.
Cannot either escape nor breathe through, and it lies at the side of the pool, gets attacked with a chainsaw, and rather than just rolling back into the pool, sits and screams.
Yeah.
I was
Sit and
so ready first to just roll away, and then there's just be this like farce scene of utter farce where like he's trying to drag her out with his chainsaw.
Or he just like
She's
jumps
in the
in
pool.
and chainsaws her underwater.
That would have
Because
made...
that would still work.
I'm sure it would have, to be fair.
That would have looked fucking cool, actually.
Right, the water turning red as
Yeah.
well. I love it. Yeah. He chops her up into bits and pieces that are not only more
It's almost
pieces
like the title
than...
makes sense.
Fuck off. That are not only more pieces than a body can make.
That was a lot of legs.
They're also all legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a pile of limbs.
Every single body piece was a leg.
It's just the limbs from like 4 different people.
And I can't help but notice that they brought in the head of anatomy at Clever University to
Identify.
identify the legs
Yeah. Well, to be fair,
and
they
how
asked
the legs
him,
were cut off.
They asked him if they thought the chainsaw was capable of
And
having.
then he sassed them all.
And then he
We
was like,
found-
"The doy."
Oh, he said even a layman could see
Yeah.
that these legs were chopped off by this chainsaw.
Mm-hmm. And then he put his sunglasses on and left.
And the Who played in the
Dropped a
background.
Yeah. That's how I remember that scene playing
Yeah.
out.
Definitely, definitely went that way.
What part of the police went, oh, we found a pile of body parts and we found a chainsaw covered in
Right.
blood. We're going to have to call in a master of anatomy.
Mayhaps these two are connected in some way.
Mayhaps. Is 2020 the year we go back to Dickensian English? Because I'm all about it.
I am
Are
very
you-
much up for that.
Yeah, cool.
Like, we start calling tuberculosis consumption. Or phthisis for pneumonia.
Yeah, vote yes.
But yes.
Ticky box.
Unanimous. It is passed.
Unanimous between 3 of us.
That's 100% of the voters.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a democracy! Why do I have written in my notebook something sexy is about to happen?
Something what?
Something sexy is about to happen.
Nothing sexy happens in this movie.
That's why
You were
I'm
wrong.
questioning why I wrote it.
Was that-
It is the introduction of the famous tennis player who is going undercover with the police as a tennis player.
Oh, you mean Lady Penelope
Yeah.
from Thunderbirds?
Everyone in this looks like a fucking Thunderbird. Everyone. I literally wrote down, why do all the men look like their hair is painted on?
Yeah. Who was Lieutenant Holden? I said looked like Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, he did.
I'm
yeah.
now thinking that he looks a bit like
Parker.
Alistair Darling as well, because of like the dark eyebrows and white
The
hair.
black eyebrows and white hair weirds me out.
It's
It's so
it's like
weird.
you dyed the wrong bit. I don't.
But how does that, like, how...
Is your face aging less than your scalp?
How does nature fuck you over in that specific way? Do you know what I mean?
And
Like-
then most men have a ginger beard as well.
Oh my god! The combination of the thing!
You'd be like some kind of fucked up Neapolitan.
It sounds like you've just sort of amalgamated every male character from Guess Who
Does he have red hair? Yes. Does he have glasses? Yes. Does he have green hair? Yes.
Is he also bald?
Yes.
Somehow, yes.
Is he human? Arguable.
Oh, we've killed Phil again.
Phil, have a drink.
I've been having drinks.
No, don't drink that
Maybe that's
anymore.
what he's choking on.
Are you drinking...
Crimbo juice. I love that they called it Crimbo juice.
Urn brew.
Urn brew, made
Urn
from
brew.
girders and ginger.
No, that's not on the label anymore because somebody complained to Trading Standards.
Ugh. Was it the same person who got Kinder Eggs banned in America?
Oh, because nobody likes fun anymore.
Kinder Eggs were actually
A choking hazard? Yes.
illegal before they were made.
Wait, what?
You can't
The
do that.
law that prevents Kinder Eggs from being sold in the US came out before Kinder Eggs were actually introduced.
You can't release a law saying Kinder Eggs make kids
Well, it's
choke
not
and then
specifically
make a
all
Kinder Egg
Kinder
and
Eggs
go,
are banned.
this is the thing. This is the thing we made that law about.
Somebody
We found
quantum
it.
It's to
Back
do.
in
It's to do
time.
with.
But here's a jigsaw of a naked lady with a massive bush.
I don't know who said this line, but I have written down in quotation marks, he's unmarried and lives with his mother.
Ooh, this is a bit of a psycho.
I suspect that was about the gay character, because that sounds like the sort of condescending thing they would have said about him. But equally, are they just talking about all millennials now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are.
Not a homeowner, because fuck the boomers.
Well, I mean, talking to somebody who's probably moving back in with her parents in a few
But
months.
it's like the norm now.
Yeah, I
So
know,
many
it's
people are
so
about to do that.
depressing.
Apparently it was not the norm in 1982.
Halcyon days.
Oh,
But also, right, everyone in this movie who wears glasses wears that specific type of, like, Dharma glasses. Do you know what I mean?
pedo glasses.
Serial killer. Like, how did anybody identify a serial killer back in 1982? Because everybody with poor eyesight looked like a serial killer.
It's when they were doing the murders.
Oh.
I love that.
Didn't even occur to me.
That's the way round it goes.
Yeah.
That's the only way they caught them was
They
mid-murder.
saw somebody doing a murder and went, that man is a murderer.
Also batshit blind.
Or just really trendy. I've got a note that says, so many conversations with no beginning, middle or end.
Absolutely
Right?
not.
I mean, they were all words.
In a specific order.
I'm not even sure about that.
No, they were in a specific order. I'm not saying they were in the right order. They were in an order.
They were definitely one after the other.
Yeah. Except for the one instance where all of the women talked over one another.
Hi,
I was gonna say, like, it's literally like.
What do you think about sugar? Huh.
The friend comes over, and then for like 30 seconds they just intensely witter at each other,
Yeah.
and then they just disperse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It's like they all said their lines at once and then walked away and the director went, fuck it. We've run out of daylight. That'll do.
A woman gets killed in a lift by
The dancer. Was that the dancer that
the
gets killed?
dancer. Dancer's strong.
Dancer
Yes.
in quotation,
Yeah.
in air quotes. They will never get on Spain's Got Talent with that.
I mean, when
It's-
she counted the dance, she ended on a 3, which didn't sound.
It's like
Didn't
if
sound
you
likely.
could have air guitar but for dancing.
Yeah, they were doing something that sort of resembled dancing. But
Something that was
not
almost
quite right.
entirely but not quite unlike dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and was probably done to different music.
Um,
Maybe they
It
dubbed the
certainly
music in as
sounds
well
like
as the
it.
dialogue.
yeah, I like that robot dancing music. Like, Robot 3000, dance music. That one. I love that. I was all about that.
With a weird, like.
With a weird
Synth
pans
voice.
people dancing.
The whole soundtrack was all over the
Oh, it's
place.
bonkers.
Although I would like to motion for more horror movies to be soundtracked with full brass bands.
Mm-hmm.
What motion would you like
I'm
that
over
to
synth.
be? Like a trombone?
Yeah.
That.
That is
In fact, let's do it. Let's just redub the music of every horror movie. Can you imagine? It'd be hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, but then everything would end up being like Last House on the Left.
Oh god.
Oh, that is fucking sinister. That is
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah.
So you're either coughing or you're grunting.
Just sat over there making some sort of noise.
What do you think,
It's the
Phil?
best I can do right now. Someone got in me. Someone got in me.
Yeah, she is killed by the killer, unsurprisingly, who somehow manages to hide an entire chainsaw behind his back.
Like, of all the weapons that you can be surreptitious about,
He's holding
a chainsaw is
He's
not
holding
one
it
of them.
one-handed behind his back.
How do you rev it? How did he? How?
Because he pressed the button on the lift, didn't he?
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, thank you so much. Oh, you're so polite." When he was hiding a chainsaw, and then gets in, and the guy's like, "Oh, joke's on you, brum brum, motherfucker." Chops her arm off.
Yes. And then they find her, and she's still alive. But then the paramedic gives her like the worst prognosis ever. Like,
She's-
never in a million years.
She's alive, but she is 100% absolutely going to die
Yes.
under horrific circumstances. She's very peaky.
In much.
Very peaky.
She's looked better.
We
Her
tried
arm's
to put a plaster on it, but she's very unwell. We've given her some medicine.
It was unsuccessful.
I don't think it was the right
The
medicine.
Calpol did not make her arm regenerate.
Oh, Miss Calpol. Wait, do you know what? I say this, and
go
every
out
single
and
time
buy Calpol.
I realise I'm a fucking adult, and I could mainline that shit
You
if I
could.
wanted to.
I wouldn't suggest it, but yeah, you're allowed.
I think now is the time where I want to pass over to you, Sarah, so you can tell me about the best scene in the entire film.
Do I have to?
Yeah, I fucking love it.
I wasn't sure if I'd oversold this.
Oh no, it was amazing. It was so good.
Because I had mentioned it before we started, before you guys even turned up at my house, and then as it sort of, I knew it was coming.
You were like crying as it was coming up.
It is one of my favourite scenes in any movie ever. It is the most ridiculous, nonsensical, like anachronistic, weird bullshit scene with the weirdest dialogue. Nothing makes a lick of sense in it. There's a guy dressed like Bruce Lee who jumps out of the shadows at our undercover tennis coach, but not really undercover.
But he like runs across the screen both directions. Like
It's almost like they just flipped the shot.
yeah. No, I reckon they literally made him like run and then turn around and run back
Like
again.
a Scooby-Doo cartoon.
Yeah.
Almost certainly. And then he sort of jumps out of the darkness at her, attacks her.
Does a
for
bit of kung fu.
does a bit of kung fu.
Doesn't touch her.
All of a sudden stops dead in his tracks, falls on his face,
Just falls over like a plank.
and then Kendall Cove comes out of the darkness
Ah, Kendall Cove lighting the way.
and he just says, "Oh, don't mind him. That's just my kung fu professor." I have so many questions at this point. Can you get a doctorate in kung fu? Firstly,
Postdoctorate we
Well, it's a,
established.
yeah, it's a postdoctorate. Like he's already done his PhD in kung fuery.
Kung Fu.
like kung foolery.
Nice.
Oh right, so that's nice, Ben. But Marvel and Bugalago.
I said it was the best thing.
Yeah, I know, that's true.
I actively embraced that word.
I mean, not only is it the funniest thing I think I've seen in a very long time, it is simultaneously the weirdest and almost most racist.
Oh, it's pretty racist, yeah. Especially since I'm assuming everyone bar maybe like a couple of characters, Christopher George, like
Yeah.
the main kind of detective,
Yeah.
was American. I'm pretty sure, and I think Penelope from Thunderbirds is American. But I think almost everyone else is Spanish.
Spanish,
So they're dubbed over. So I'm assuming
So this
the
guy,
kung fu professor was probably Spanish.
so he's a Chinese guy who's been dubbed over.
With a really racist
with
voice actor.
with a really like
Don't try.
I'm not going
Don't
to.
try.
No, I wasn't. No, you know me better than that.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm joking.
But
White
then-
power, Philip.
Right,
But
you
then-
can do that. I'm allowed to fight back.
But he picks himself up off the floor,
Blames his weirdness on some bad chop suey.
which is, while racist,
Also not a thing.
Also one of my favourite lines in the film.
I've written bad chop suey. That's not food poisoning.
Yeah, that's not how
what he
food
did.
poisoning works.
No, normally I'm lying down wanting to die, not like trying to karate chop someone.
I mean,
Kung
ironically,
fu chop
at
someone.
least one other person in this film vomits on screen. None of them were him.
Maybe they all had food poisoning.
Oh, perhaps.
Maybe he was talking about like the crew meal. Like-
Yeah. That was just craft services he was having a whinge about.
No, it was Leslie Nielsen in an airplane.
Oh yeah. Shit, man. Bastard!
My second favourite line in this film, repeated many times.
Bastard!
So this is after the endless, horrendous music, the marching band music that
Oh my god.
I've got no idea what it was. Just keeps going on and on
big band polka
and on
kind of,
and on.
and a tennis player
And on.
runs around with their titties out for a bit, and then
Punctuated by a brass band.
gets stabbed.
She kind of gets like halved.
Does she get chainsawed or does she get stabbed?
I assume she gets chainsawed at some point because when you see the aftermath, it's just like
She's a
torso
torso up.
with guts hanging out, right?
Oh yeah.
So she, because he'd been taking parts of everyone he killed to make
His mother.
the thing at the end.
I've
we'll
already
get to.
said it.
Oh, okay. All right, the human jigsaw.
Which is weird because it's like a jigsaw of a human that he was making. Oh. It's really on the nose, isn't it?
It is massively on the nose.
I still maintain the killer was Donald Sutherland from Buffy.
The silhouette,
Just sliding
100%.
sliding a shot, sliding out a shot.
Yeah.
That's all. That's how
100%.
Donald Sutherland in the Buffy the Vampire film gets around. It slides in shot, slides out shot. But then no, it turns out to be the Principal Dean.
Principal Dean.
It turns out to be Principal Dean himself.
Principal Dean, captain of the university.
who was the kid at the start of the movie.
Did you guys second guess it? Because they try very hard to throw some red herrings in there. And perhaps don't do the greatest job of diverting you. But did you guess that it was him?
I didn't guess that it was him up until the scene where he's putting saccharin in her coffee.
And also, like, 17 spoonfuls of instant coffee.
I mean, fucking hell, I have my coffee strong. That guy. And it was from the tiniest jar of coffee.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to disguise the taste of
He might
drugs
be
somehow.
a murderer, but he is very generous with what little he has.
I sounded so old. Drugs that
Drugs.
the kids are doing.
Doing a drug, smoking a cocaine. I don't fucking know. Until he drugged her coffee, by putting like some kind of homeopathic tincture in it. I didn't realise it was him, but then I was specifically not trying to work
I was
out who
just
it
about
was.
to say, is that because most of the film doesn't make a lick of sense? So
No, not at all. But I was actively like not trying to work out who it was.
Okay.
I knew it
Just along
wasn't
for the
Willard,
ride.
the suspicious man,
In double denim.
Canadian tuxedo. It can't have been him because he was too suspicious.
He was. And you were right. He was too suspicious to be the killer. And again, never heard from again. We
No.
never revisit that character.
I think the killer was Kenny Fart.
I
don't
just-
even
I
know
still have no
why
idea what you heard.
I just heard the name
Well,
Kenny
she heard
Farr.
Kenny Farr.
And I said, who's Kenny
I don't know what it
Farr?
should have been.
And then a random policeman turned up who we hadn't seen for the entirety of the film, and I was like, maybe that's Kenny Farr.
I genuinely don't have a clue what they had actually said that you misheard.
I don't know.
Same.
So I can only assume that it was a character called Kenny Farr. It's the only logical assumption.
They never name him. He's not credited, but I believe he's there.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Farr.
So that was Pieces. What's your take on it? What's your
My take.
is it
My,
like
my hot take.
up there or
No,
Okay,
I
film.
want your medium warm take. I don't want hot, it's too spicy.
I mean, you guys know I enjoy this film. It's not a spoiler to say that I enjoy the crap out of this movie. Everything, literally every line of dialogue that's delivered sounds like an innuendo.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, for sure.
The acting is just horrendous. The dubbing is even worse, and it just lends it this weird sort of feel where everything is not like Uncanny Valley, but it doesn't make any sense because the people doing the dubbing just have to match up with what the actor is delivering.
It's
And
like
I mean,
it's very much a product of its time and a product of being run through a translator.
Yeah.
Effectively.
But it also leads to such weird sort of like run-on sentences, and the cadence is all fucked
what was
up.
was the there was that like uncomfortable pause between I forgot what that was, but there was just this he was delivering a line and there's just a pause for like 2 seconds, 2-3 seconds, and then he carries on.
And there's a lot of like really loud breathing.
Oh my god!
Like that wouldn't... No, not from the killer. I mean, like, all right. An example is when you kind of first meet the dean of the university.
Sorry.
I'll edit that out. When you first meet the dean of the university, and he's sat at his desk.
Oh yeah, he's full on heavy breathing.
But all of his lines are dubbed, and so the actor is like, it's not the same as if a microphone would have picked up the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's clearly a guy in a studio going between every line, and it's just like, oh my god, what's wrong with the sound? It just lends it this weird feel, and it just, I mean, even if the script made more sense, even if the acting was better, I think when all of your lines are recorded in a studio by somebody else, it's always going to be this heightened reality. It's never going to flow right.
Do you know what I think? Oh, sorry, carry on.
I say particularly if all the lines are recorded in isolation. Like as an actor, you're supposed to be able to bounce off
interact people. Yeah.
your co-stars.
Yeah.
That's being generous, but you know what I mean.
Stars. Well.
What I think I enjoy about it so much is that with bad films, with bad films that are actually bad, you find yourself every so often getting immersed, but then being dragged back out of it. It's super jarring and it's really frustrating.
Being brought right back down
There
to earth.
is no fucking chance of that happening with this film. Like, there is no immersion to be had. You are on the surface 100% of the time, all the time, and it is hilarious.
Yes.
Like, it is what it is in front of you, and it's brilliant and it's bonkers.
Yeah,
and you can't find yourself being like, oh, but I felt like it didn't really get into the storyline.
Yeah. Like, considering there are some scenes that I would describe as slow, it's never boring.
No.
It doesn't drag. And I think there are some really memorable kind of set pieces, which is all they are. It's a series of loosely interconnected set pieces disguised as a film.
Considering that it's like a horror, considering that the FX is quite gnarly, and considering that it's got quite a dark subject matter, like, it's kind of wholesome. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a kind of like heartwarming.
I wouldn't say wholesome. I would say weirdly innocent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, no, you tried.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
But
like, there are some really memorable moments, like obviously the decapitation near the beginning, death on a waterbed is quite a fun one.
Death on a waterbed was pretty good.
Yeah, like this. There are some,
and the intense slow motion.
Yes.
Every scene in this film was considered for slow motion.
Darkplace. It's Darkplace.
I think no matter what your feelings about this film are, it's a difficult one to forget. I suppose it's quite memorable in a weird way.
Well, so when you showed me your favourite scene, I'm almost certain you showed me before. I couldn't tell you, like, I knew I recognised the set. I couldn't tell you what the scene was, but it definitely stuck in my head.
Okay.
So, yeah, makes sense. But yeah, that's about our take on Pieces.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I apologise for my intense coughing throughout. But tune in.
Pop a whole Sue the next time.
Yeah, I'll try and prep next time. So yeah, tune back in a fortnight to see what we're going to cover next time. Until then, stay spooky.
Bye, guys.
Sayonara, suckers.